right now, we are seeing essentially a lot of pressure being put on companies to create a more privacy safe internet, and to take good care of users' data, which I think makes a ton of sense. And I think from a publisher perspective, oftentimes when people are looking at our content specifically, the consent mechanisms that are used for GDPR, that are used for CCPA, it has a lot to do with the publisher gaining that consent and the publisher being able to take care of that user as best they can. With these changes, a lot of the core pieces of digital advertising are being disrupted. So identity is really core to digital advertising. So being able to do frequency capping, being able to do targeting, being able to do attribution is all based around this idea of the identifier and the data that's associated with the identifier. And that poses some risks in terms of privacy. And so at this point in time, there's really an opportunity to re-architect a more privacy safe internet, but also do that in a way that is fair for all of the different members of the ecosystem. So we run into the aspect of possibly recreating something that is lopsided if there are the haves and the have-nots of data and identifiers, versus what we have today, which is more of an open ecosystem that does pose some privacy issues.
So what about contextual advertising? Does that become more important, more useful?
Yeah, absolutely. So contextual advertising could absolutely be one of the ways in which our industry moves into a more privacy safe internet. That being said, it's only going to be if the entire industry moves that way and if marketers move that way as well. So, we have seen the benefits of personalized advertising, and we have seen performance show that personalized advertising gets the clicks, it gets the views, it gets the, it really gets the user to respond. If we create a new internet that is uneven, where some companies have identity, some companies can still do personalized advertising and can still continue to mine data from users versus others, we won't move towards contextual. What we'll move towards is marketers moving towards those platforms where they continue to do personalized advertising, and then contextual becomes a much less effective way. Now, if across the board we all move to contextual and advertisers see that as the way that they want to buy and sell advertising, then yes, I think we as an industry will move that way. I think that a lot of these changes occur, some of the changes occur with advanced warning and being able to prepare for something before it actually comes. It is hard to be able to change the entire functionality of how an ecosystem runs, especially in a few short months. But I would say that with the decisions that have been made around Safari browsers, that this is something that could have been prepared for, right? And could have been looked at as a possible risk. We know and understand that Apple is continuing to move even more privacy safe through both the browsers and the app ecosystem, and that's a decision that they'll make, and we need to adapt as an industry for that. I understand that this is definitely frustrating for marketers, but I would say that it's hard being the entity, specifically publishers, that are asked to maintain and garner consent, but then literally having no control of how the data is used once it goes down into the ad tech ecosystem. So I think that this is something that that we think makes sense, and I think is also something that a little bit more advanced warning would have been helpful in order for us to prepare for it. And I do see there being a short-term revenue risk for publishers in this because of the way kind of us needing to change things up very quickly before it settles into something different. I think this really opens up an opportunity for us to lean more into context and lean more into custom integrations, custom content, things that really help with the top of the funnel and driving brand affinity for marketers versus what digital advertising has always been since its inception, which is very direct response focused. I think this gives an opportunity for us to start to look at digital advertising for more than just the clicks, for more than just the views, and start to make it more of an immersive experience for users that can change their perceptions of brands. You know, if we stop dumping dollars specifically towards just things that can be measured to a T, just dollar amounts that are moving goods and services, and we start to look at how does your brand and align with my brand, and how does that help to create some sort of positive affinity between the two of them. I think that that's a huge opportunity and something that we're really excited to invest in at News Corp.